Hi, I am Victoria, and I'm going to just kind of be sharing a little bit of my story. We had a donut day the other day when Kelsey was in Idaho. So it's obvious that we love donuts, and I had to put that in there. From a very young age, this is my Shirley Temple days. Um, I really struggled with my weight and my relationship with food. Like I was always aware that I was bigger. I was always like trying to suck my stomach in, and just always trying to do different things. And that really started at a very young age. At like 5 years old, I was very aware of these things. And then ultimately, what does everyone do in society and family members and all the things? Is to start a diet. And that just completely, I know that now looking back, like this was, yes, I went through this. Like I have, lots of experience now with it, but I literally was on diet after diet after diet and just weight cycling like no other. And like you learned earlier, like this, I was struggling with insulin resistance because I was just going up and down, up and down. I would have times where I was active, I would have times where I wasn't, and it was just, there was no consistency. So as you can see, I also do weightlifting. And this was something that I never was like very much so into like cardio. I thought it was embarrassing, when people would hear me like breathing loud. So I found weightlifting and I absolutely loved it because I was already super strong. I already like hold muscle a little bit differently. And this was very helpful for that struggle. But with weightlifting comes weightlifting competitions, and I started tracking my macros. I started just becoming very hyper focused, and all of that restriction just kept leading to the binges. So this is a little bit fast forward. This is my husband and I being silly on the beach where we met. And when I moved to college and moved away from home, that was really like the first time I was like, oh, not everyone eats the way I eat, or not everyone eats the way my family eats. And I had access to all of this food that normally wasn't in the pantries at our house. And all of that food was on a pedestal. And so it was very like, ooh, what is this? I haven't had this before. And so I'm a nurse. So when I was in nursing school, um the combination of like stress, moving to a new like city, all that stuff, I just kept gaining weight. I'd lose it, gain it back. And then in 2018 my husband and I got married, and that was like the pinnacle moment of holy crap, I feel found out. I can't hide this binge eating anymore. I can't, like, there's literally somebody living with me. We didn't live together before, so like I was able to, keep it, on the down low. And so it was really like humiliating to be like, okay, there's clearly something wrong. I need to do something about it. And so that was in 2018. The next 3 years or so consisted of me graduating from school, weight cycling. I also was in 2 treatment centers for eating disorders. We moved to a new state. I started my career, and I was also experiencing the effects of burnout as a nurse that started during COVID. So very interesting. So I really don't want to look at these pictures. It's really difficult for me. But this was the top one was when I quit my job at the hospital. I was juggling with this thing of knowing that I needed to heal my body and my relationship with food. But in treatment, I mean, now I know that it can be on the back burner, and a byproduct of habits and whatnot can be weight loss. But I thought it had to be either black or white. So I was either healing and, listening to my body and honoring my hunger, or I was going to be obese for the rest of my life and just say, F it. This is just, I'm just the victim of my circumstances. Or I was going to diet and then heal. And so October 2021, I found myself at the highest weight I'd ever been. I remember waking up one day and the curtains were down, and I like woke up, I stood on the floor, and I literally felt like I blacked out, and I woke up and I was this weight. I like don't I can't really describe it, but my ankles were hurting so bad. I felt like I ran miles when I literally wasn't moving my body. And ultimately, I felt like my soul was different than the way that my body was presenting itself to the world, which it's just a lot. Okay. So, what did I do? Naturally, I started a diet. And this was um, the craziest time of my life. So December 4th, I was going into my second month of doing Optavia, which is basically like the caloric intake of a tiny bird. And I brought all of my fueling little things. And I was planning on, being good the whole weekend. Despite my really close friend Aaron on the right, it was his birthday and his sister decided to tag along. And so I had no idea. I knew Kelsey lived in Mexico. I really didn't know anything. And when we started talking, I was making her a coffee and she was like, "Oh yeah, I help women who struggle with food and their bodies." And I was like, "Oh shit." I'm either going to love this girl or I'm going to run away. But Kelsey and I sat by the fire that literally till like 1 or 2 in the morning. I felt like the most immense shame that I had ever felt, and the fear of like, holy crap, this is my life right now. What is going on? But I ended up talking to her about everything, and I was telling her all the stuff I learned in treatment, and that was literally the moment. So she literally looked at me and said, "You know all of the things. Why aren't you doing any of them? You can have both." Like, she was like, "I'm not saying that you can't lose weight. You can 100% lose weight, but you need to do the other stuff first, and you need to focus on that stuff." And we geek out about Atomic Habits, but I had never heard of it before that. And one of the things that James Clear talks about is casting votes for the type of person you want to become. And so we talk a lot about that in our program, but I was actually a student. I was a little student going through the Rediscover You Free program. And I knew that it was possible because I was like, if I'm envisioning recovery, what that looked like for me, a free life, if I was able to like conceptualize that, I knew that I could make that my life. I did not believe in myself whatsoever. I was like, I felt like, I mean, you have probably felt this way too. Like, every diets just show you, okay, I'm a fail. You're looking inward. You're not saying the diet is a failure. You're saying you're a failure. But thankfully, I was surrounded by women who were so supportive, that had so much belief that I could do it, and I was able to catch some momentum. So I'm able to eat, a bowl of Cheerios, and, it's nothing, no sweat off my back. So this is some of the foods. And then this is part of my weight loss as well, natural byproduct. So I committed to stop losing weight, and I started showing up regardless of how work was going, regardless of if I got in an argument with my husband or my parents or whoever, regardless of absolutely anything. I am showing up for myself on a regular basis. And I started focusing on what are the things, since weight is not a behavior, what are the things in my life that I can augment and optimize to make my life better, make me feel better. And then as a result, this kind of just happened. And I started also shifting the story. I'm almost done, but
You're great.
This was like the way. Okay, we have something in our brain that is the mediator between our unconscious and our subconscious and our conscious brain. And so I'm sure you guys have heard it, but like, if you buy a red Toyota 4Runner, they existed before you bought the car. There is something in your brain that says, "Oh, Toyota 4Runner, I just put a huge down payment and that's going to be coming out of my budget. And wow, that's important. That this is important to me." And it's called your reticular activating system. And it literally tells your unconscious, "Hey, this is important." So it's going to start looking for those things. And so instead of saying that I am struggling with my weight, I am a failure, I've failed all of the diets, I stopped saying that, and I said, I am the type of person that wakes up in the morning and goes on a walk. I am the type of I said it to Kelsey last night. I said, I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to wake up at 5:15 and I'm going to go to the gym at 6 because I'm not going to be on my A game tomorrow if I don't go take care of myself. I stopped looking at these, like, I stopped becoming the victim and I started thinking, how can I overcome this? So, this is now, well, this was me in Greece. I wish I was there right now, but I am now free. And little did I know, I had the key to my prison cell. I was literally holding it. And the only way out, I had never, I mean, I have gone through years of therapy and treatment and everything. But this was the program, and Kelsey was the person that was like, okay, this is the how-to of putting the key in the freaking hole and turning the lock and walking out. And so this is my life now. Food is great. I eat ice cream so often. Like, I was looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally take pictures of it all the time because it's beautiful. But I'm able to cherish meals with my husband. There was a time when I was cooking completely separate. Like, I would literally go out of my way to prep completely different things. Not only am I nourished, but I am also satisfied, and I don't have binging, whatever eating behaviors that I had. I don't have them anymore. And it's because I've gone through this program. It's because I have now have this belief that I can do this.